Watch Who?
Hello.
And welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Oh, and it's a bit cold here, isn't it? We thought we'd do a bit of shopping in Iceland and...
Do you know what? We'll get into more of it, but a bit sceptical about some things. But when it was a supermarket and it looked like an Iceland or something, I had a really good laugh at that. I enjoyed how silly that was. And it made me think about all the comments about Doctor Who being silly nowadays, because it was really silly. And I found that very funny. And then what's his name's just sat there, who we've met before, in the calf or whatever it was in the Iceland. The whole thing was just very funny.
Well, yeah, it's Dragonfire this week. But first, a couple of little updates. I mean, it was a while ago when we actually recorded Delta and the Bannermen, and we had somebody get in touch. So, I'm going to say hello to, I hope I get this name right, Endaf Arwin, and he runs a North Wales Doctor Who group.
Oh.
Right. But it was getting in touch because they call themselves Shangri-La. And I don't think we mentioned this last week, but that's the name of the holiday camp in Delta and the Bannermen, which I don't think we did,
no.
So anyway, they meet in Llandudno. Hello to the North Wales Doctor Who group.
I had many a holiday in Llandudno.
That's who they are. So you can find them on Facebook if you search for Shangri-La. Or the Doctor Who North Wales group. If you're in North Wales and want to talk Doctor Who.
I'm going to share that with some people I know who are Doctor Who fans who have, I have friends that are from Llandudno who still have friends up there that enjoy Doctor Who. So I will let them know.
I'll send you the link. And also, well, we were going to record the other day and we didn't.
Yeah.
So for both of us, it's been a while since we watched Dragonfire. But also, I was going to send you this and I didn't in the end. But just going back... to Shelley, who emailed us about the bingo cards and stuff. For this episode, I tried to do the bingo thing, and I've got a list of what I was checking off as I went along.
Okay.
And I should have sent it really for you to do, but I wasn't sure.
We'll do the next one.
So maybe we'll do the next one properly. But I had a go at doing that, so I will let you know how that goes as we talk through the story.
Okay.
So we'll probably have to do the story in sort of order this time, so I can check off the bingo. Yeah, I know.
I noticed someone mentioned the sequence or something.
The sequence?
On Twitter. Let me find it. It'll be in our...
Sequence? What?
Hang on. Put this new app on my social media, and it's pain in the bum, really. It's supposed to... Sorry, total side thing here. So... before you open your social media apps, a screen comes up and it gives you 3-second pause and you can decide if you actually want to open it or not. No thoughts on the theme arrangement?
Oh, yes, that was Gavin.
Yes.
Oh, that was it. So Gavin, we didn't really talk about the music. We talked about the new titles in Time of the Rani. And I basically replied saying, we probably haven't talked about it because Sarah probably hasn't noticed. Because sometimes you don't notice. Because I thought for you, it would just be the theme's the theme.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I did a music degree. I know music. I mean, I just put it in with all of the other titles when we talked about it in my head. Do you mean as in it's all like electronic and stuff now?
Well, yeah, it's a different arrangement. It's the same tune, but it's just on all synthesizers.
Yeah. I just put it in as one collective. The whole thing's different. It does feel very 80s, though, doesn't it? I think that's why it reminds me of the whole Red Dwarfy sort of I mean, theirs has words and stuff, but that's sort of like Star Wars, I guess, I don't know, all that sort of thing it reminds me of.
Well, I suppose you don't get the sort of wooey woos anymore.
No,
it's more
you
don't. It's also like a yeah. It's very different from what we've had. It fits with the graphics, I think.
Oh, it definitely fits with the graphics. And it fits with the era. Don't get me wrong. I love a good orchestra. If it's a nice orchestral arrangement, that's the one for me.
But we're all about the synthesizers at the moment.
Which just feels very 80s.
Well, should we go through the story?
Yeah.
And see what we remember? Because I think, again, same this whole series, it's very divisive still. So we're on Ice World, which I'm going to call Dry Ice World because there's a lot of dry ice going on in this story.
I thought of that little girl in that dress, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
And like, if she was on Ice World, she must be freezing. Because you've got everyone like bundled up in coats or whatever, and there's like dry ice everywhere, like you say. And then this girl is in that tiny little dress that looks like she's going to like, I'm trying to think what the least offensive thing in my head was just then.
Well, I was going to say something terrible, so it's not going to be as bad. That girl, because I've watched this a lot of time. I was like, I was watching it this time. I was like, what does that girl remind me of? Who does that girl remind me of?
I'm going to text it you because I'm not saying it out loud.
Oh, it might be what I'm about to say. Oh no, that's not offensive at all. No, that's better. I think she looks like that girl that was murdered. That Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Oh gosh, yeah, she does.
Your one is better.
I just text Mark saying my big fat gypsy wedding.
I was like, I've seen that girl before. It's because I watched that Netflix documentary about the murder of Jean-Benet Ramsey. I'm like, it's Jean-Benet Ramsey, but that's terrible. They're both terrible.
Well, because she was like pageant, like all the pictures of her were from pageants. It's like a pageant dress. And when I saw it, I thought of like when they have the gypsy weddings and they have the elaborate big over the top dresses. That's what it reminded. It's very 80s.
Yeah. That actual dress, though, I have a fact about this dress because it was just on the Blu-ray. It's one of Bonnie Langford's old costumes from a previous BBC show. So it's actually Bonnie Langford wears that in another show, like a few years before.
How
probably.
tiny is Bonnie Langford?
I know. When she says it on the Blu-ray, she's like, "That's one of my old costumes."
Oh my gosh!
But just on Dry Ice though, you weren't there when. You know when I did that Labyrinth film screening and I wanted Dry Ice?
I didn't come to your Labyrinth.
It was amazing. It was very ambient. I had all the sticks and bricks and...
For listeners, Mark went through a period of hosting these film screenings, didn't you? But like, they were very... Like, you did a Doctor Who one, didn't you?
Yes, that was the second one, yeah.
Yeah. But they were basically... Mark just did really elaborate, over-the-top scene setting.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Labyrinth was the best one. So you went through.
Which one was that? First or third?
That was the first one. There was a lot went into that. I had all the doors were like bricked up like a secret labyrinth.
I remember.
Entrance. There was like cobwebs. I was collecting sticks and bits of tree for weeks, all stuck up. I did have a bubble machine for that one at the front, but it made the floor too slippery, so I had to switch it off. But we wanted dry ice all over the floor as well, and it was all lit, like ambiently and everything. It was amazing. You went into this whole world.
How many people came?
That was a busy one, because that got listed in the newspapers. That was like 50, 60 people.
Great.
That was pretty good, yeah. But anyway, we wanted dry ice, and usually, I don't know why we didn't just use that smoke machine that we got. It was too expensive to buy, like, the liquid or something. So instead...
Dry ice? I know what you mean. You don't mean dry ice machine. You mean an ice, like a low-level ice machine.
It was just supposed to be over the floor, like, low-level.
That's what we had. That's what we had when we did Aladdin, and it took out 2 rows of kids. Yeah,
it just sort of sits there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, in Ice World, in that opening shot, it's like, is there a difference then between like the dry ice and the smoke stuff? So is that dry ice in this Doctor Who?
So you get, so what you have like the smoke machines, they do haze, and so that's where you can see the lights better. You usually like haze a whole space because then it makes the lights, you can see the beams and stuff like that. They're all water based, and then smoke machines are just like puffs of smoke. Again, there's no direction to it though, similar to haze but thicker. Then you've got like, they're called like fog machines, and they're low and thick and heavy. So that's what you wanted.
That's what we wanted to do.
What we had for Aladdin, because it's thick. And when we put it on the floor, it looked like clouds. So we put the lights on top of it, it looked like clouds. But then it went through the railings and took out like 3 rows of children. You could see them. So we lost the children in the show.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, that's what we wanted. I don't know, it was too expensive to actually buy the proper thing. So, of course, let's make our own. So, we bought the crystals. You get them really cheap online. And then we had a plastic storage box. gouged a hole in it. So then we'd put the crystals in, then you'd pour water in.
Yeah, and then
have these gloves and goggles. So all the audience are coming in to watch Labyrinth and everything, and then we're like, right, we need some more. So we're in the corner with goggles and gloves, pouring water into this plastic box and trying to get this. It was like all that effort. We might as well have just bought the actual or rented a fog machine. I don't know why, but it worked. We got it. It was sort of hung around for a little bit, but then you just had to keep pouring a kettle's worth of like water into this box.
I know. I definitely left by then. This is like just after I'd left. I remember that machine leaked. I remember that one we had.
Yeah, it was always leaked because you go into that switch room and you'd be like, oh, the thingy's leaked again.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
liquid will be all over the floor where all the electrical stuff was.
Yeah,
Every time. Yeah, every time. But it was fun having a smoke machine, fog machine. Anyway, they must have had to isolate all their fire detectors when they were filming this. So we're on Dry Ice World, and yeah, we're basically in Iceland. It's a shopping centre, but it's also...
I just love this idea. There's all these like freezer units and you get in your food. Hilarious. Of course you would. You're like, and when he says it, he's like, well, they need to get their shopping while they're out in space. I've never really thought about it before. Of course they do. Where did they get their food? Like, they get an Uber or whatever, a Deliveroo or whatever, you know? So...
Yeah, you've got to go shopping.
Go shopping to the cold side of the planet.
And it's a shame, though. I mean, Mel, in all her stories, it's not another holiday, but it might as well be. Holiday and shopping and leisure. Mel's stories are all about that.
I think a lot of these stories are about that.
She's all right about being there. She's not too... She's like, oh, let's go somewhere else. But, you know, come on, Mel. You've had a good few holidays recently.
This season feels a little bit like things that people know or do are everyday things, but let's put them in space. You know, going on holiday, or like, especially in that time, like going to the holiday resort, going shopping. There's been a lot of just what other, I can't even think what else we've had this season.
That's about it, really, apart from the Rani one, which was a bit different, but that's all we've had.
I remember it. Doskers will come up and remind me then.
Well, no, where he regenerated, like the first one.
Oh, but he just started like that.
Yeah. That's all this is only the fourth story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's been holiday, shopping.
We've had a lot of breaks in between.
We have. But then we see Glitz in the cafe.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I enjoyed that.
So that's nice to bring him back. And obviously he knows Mel from before. And so we find out that Glitz is sort of being Glitz, really. And he's sold his crew to Kane. And he's in debt and everything. And then we get, I want to say Belange. She's like the lady that's working for Kane.
Yeah,
so she's Patricia Quinn. So you might know her. She's in the Rocky Horror Show. She's the lady in she's from the Rocky Horror Show, the film.
Okay.
Have you seen the film?
I have, but I mean, it's been many, many years.
Well,
I've seen the stage show more than the film.
Well, okay, so she's in the film. She's basically those red lips that, you know, that close up of that mouth, or that red lips.
I think I know who. Yeah.
That's her. Anyway, she's in this.
Yeah, when you were like, she's Rocky Horror Picture Show, I was like, there's a lot of women in that.
Yeah, she's like the main one. She's like the... Oh,
what, Janet?
No, not Janet. No, she's like...
That's the main one. I don't think she's
no,
Janet.
not the main one. The main... who's the other sort of servanty lady, mistressy lady?
I can't remember. I think I know who you mean. I'm guessing she still has red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway, that's her. I wasn't sure if you know her or not, but you don't. So let's move on. So we see Kane as well he's Mr. Freeze, isn't he? So on this bingo card, there's evil mastermind. So I'm going to tick that off because that is Kane. He is our evil mastermind.
One day, when we return home, I shall erect colossal statues in your honour.
Because he's plotting and planning in his little freezer world thing. Okay, I was going to get to this later, but we'll talk about this now. So you've got Kane in his big dry ice studio thing. And you've got the cafe and like the shopping centre thing.
Yeah.
It's not really like a whole world. I was trying to work out like, so he's in prison there, which we find out later. That's his, and he's got all his guards and stuff. But then there's also shopping. And is that it? So in my mind, it was like a sort of service station type thing in space, not like a whole like Center Parks world. It was like Kane's prison, and we've built an Iceland.
I imagined it more like a shopping centre, and he was like shopping centre security or management.
Oh, right. A bit like the caretakers in Paradise Towers, sort of.
Yeah, I did more like there's other parts of, like, we've just seen the cafe and the food court. Maybe there's like a games hall. I mean, they sort of hint. It's weird as well because then they're like, oh, then there's this map of all these underworld bits, but the top is so commercialized.
But then that top is the bit that launches and is being his prison, and it's a spaceship in the end. So I think that bit is just Kane's prison and
is his prison to be
centre.
sent to be management of a shopping centre?
Yeah, that's what I've never really understood this. I'm like, he's got all his guards and his people that he's sort of captured, and he's getting to work for him. But it's like, well, what are you doing? Is your job then just to run?
Like,
the shopping centre?
who manages this place? Like, who owns the store? Where do the profits go to? Who is paying Ace her salary?
That's the thing. I don't know. Like, is that Kane's imprisonment to run a shopping centre? Is that what he's like? He doesn't seem to be bothered about any of that stuff, and neither. And like, why do he have guns and stuff? I don't know. Anyway, maybe it doesn't make sense, but
It's a weird one because I just understood it as they're separate things. I completely agree with you. Like, he just collects. I also wonder, you know how he like buys people? How did he get his first bit of money? I mean, he's in prison, right?
Yeah, but I think it's because he brands everyone with a coin.
Once he's bought them.
There's that about his money, but then you could also be like, why does Kenny only live in ice? We didn't even get any of that, do we?
No. I was thinking about this as well, because he goes in that thing a lot to go back to minus 190. How many times a day does he have to go downstairs into his little room? And it doesn't take long. It goes down in tens very quickly. But how often does he go down there to freeze himself again? And no one has picked up on this other than when she goes in and goes, I went in a restricted area, and he's in a thing cooling down.
But maybe that's just how he is. He's always needed ice, and he's always needed that. And they're like, this is a perfect prison for him. We'll send him to Iceland.
I don't know. I think we have asked more questions about this than anyone ever intended.
Okay, we'll carry on. So this is where in the cafe we meet Ace, the waitress.
Yeah.
And
what's on your bingo card, by the way? Just can you read them all, even if you haven't got them? I'm just intrigued.
Shelley sent this sort of this generator, so it's a link. So I'll share the link. So it just does,
okay,
and it's all the ones that she's put together. So I'll just read them out. So we've got Prophecy, Filmed in a Quarry, Death by Light, Trapped, Disappeared by Light, You Stay Here, A Chauvinism. Perry is referenced here, so I think this is for another story. It says character skeeves on Perry. What does that mean?
As in, like,
skeeves.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like,
leches.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A racism. Producer skeeves on Perry. Class war.
Oh, no, is it somewhat, no, sorry, skeeves. Is it more like,
American.
Someone does something, bad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like,
okay,
as in, like, you know, when we've talked before, like, they've given her a bit of a bad run. So,
yeah.
Like, they turned her into a butterfly, like you said, or whatever it was.
Birds, yes. We got Dr. Insufferable Prick, Skin Suit Alien, Unsensible Shoes, Soundless Collapse, Knocked Out by Light, Evil Mastermind, Strangers Instantly Trust the Doctor, Doctor or Companion Threatened with Execution, Chanty Cult, Companion Disappeared or Lost, Possession by Alien, Ritual Sacrifice, Clone or Copied Character, Someone is in a Ventilation Shaft.
Brilliant.
So I was keeping an
There's
eye on
so
these.
many of those that can potentially happen. It's untrue.
So I was also just about to tick off Strangers Instantly Trust the Doctor, because Ace sits down with Mel and the Doctor and is right in it with Glitz. And I think maybe she was supposed to have already known Glitz.
I should stop at home if I were you, Doctor.
Oh, this sounds brill.
My sentiments precisely. What's your name, incidentally?
Everyone calls me Ace.
Oh, how do you do? I'm the Doctor, and this is my friend, Mel.
And we're really going to go looking for dragons?
Too risky, if you ask me.
Nonsense, Glitz. Time for a quick adventure, then back for tea.
Ace!
Yeah, I got that impression that he, like, comes to the supermarket quite often. Like, he's been there a while, because he's obviously sold his crew and stuff, and she's been a waitress there. I got that impression, yeah.
I think in the book or either in the actual book of this or later on it says that she's been sleeping with Glitz or something. Someone wrote that somewhere. Anyway, never mind.
Oh my gosh, that was a level of detail I wasn't expecting.
So they're talking about this dragon and this treasure and there's a treasure map, and this is where they're talking about this
What I do with my regulars, but okay.
So I'm ticking off prophecy as well. So we're talking about the dragon and all of that kind of stuff. So I like them all just sitting there chatting in the cafe. I like the way that, I mean, it's just a studio cafe. You've got all the aliens in the background.
It's brilliant. It's such a silly idea.
So what do you think of Ace now you've first met her?
I really liked Ace, and actually, and we're really jumping ahead now, I wasn't expecting Bonnie Langford Mel to leave. So that is jumping ahead. I thought that they had nice chemistry, they worked well together, and there might have been one or two adventures of them together. That was a surprise. Obviously, I kind of knew Ace was going to come on because Ace has been mentioned in a lot of the new stuff. And that was who was in your script, wasn't it?
Yes, she's in the Jodie Whittaker episode.
So
yeah.
I finally feel that I can connect something from what you said. This is the first time where those things have really connected up for me. I don't really. I like what I like about Ace is the youthful enthusiasm, which we've not had for a while. I mean, Mel is but isn't. Do you know what I mean? I liked when we had your Vickies. I mean, to some extent, Susan was that, but that's sort of a youth, very Vicky youth rebellion. I think that's a nice sort of.
Yeah, I mean she's very different compared to Mel. Yeah,
Dodo.
Yeah, you mean Dodo? Yeah, we
yeah,
like Dodo.
Yeah. That's sort of I like those. The female strong-willed characters are young and fresh-faced, get stuck in. I like that.
I think she's supposed to be a bit sort of East Endish, but she's not allowed to do a proper accent, so she's sort of stuck with this sort of
very Dodo.
She's doing a Dodo. But compared to Mel, I mean we love Mel, but it's very different, isn't it? Yeah,
it's very different. Mel's more her big sister.
Yes. Yeah. I do like all their scenes together though, actually.
Yeah, same. I really enjoyed I would have liked maybe another story with just them two doing stuff and working things out.
So the Doctor and Glitz go off and they leave Mel and Ace, so that's a you stay here ticked off. Oh, there was a chauvinism there as well. I think he said you girls stay here. Anyway.
I did, yeah.
The chauvinism off. I liked how Ace deals with the Karen in the cafe.
Yeah. We've all wanted to do it.
With that girl's mum. But were you expecting Ace? See, this always... Because I knew who Ace was before I watched the story. I'd seen some of the
But that's kind of what I've had this time.
But I know her from she's from 1980s Earth. But we meet her in space.
Then it actually happened. And I ended up here. Ended up working as a waitress again. Only this time I couldn't dream about going nowhere else.
And that always confused me. But she does explain it. I don't know if you picked up on...
Yeah, it was very vague, but she explains I was on Earth and then I was here. And
that's a weird way to go around it. She said this time storm opened up and I ended up here. So she's actually a modern, present day companion, but it's weird that we meet her out in space and she's sort of...
And also, I hope that something gets addressed as to why she's what happened in that storm.
What happened in the storm? Maybe.
My feeling is that'll never be addressed. But can you imagine? I'm just sat here talking with you and then, oh yeah, I'm just on space and I just get on with it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, well she has. She's just got on with it. She's gone out. She's got a job at the cafe. She's got her own room there. She makes her own explosives. And that's it. But yeah, it's a very different kind of intro. But it's not like a Mel where we didn't have one.
But actually, if I hadn't known that Ace was in the future stuff, and again, a name like Ace, you remember. So that's the only reason. There's so many things from current whatever that I'll forget. But as you know, but I do remember when I saw it and she went, "Oh, my name's Ace." I was like, "You're going to be a companion." But there is nothing else that would have indicated to me that person was going to join the TARDIS.
Well, she's very active in the whole story. She's given
but we have lots of active people in the stories, and we get a very brief overview of their life, and then we never. I mean, there's a few people that I thought were going to join and didn't.
No, I know. Poor H.G. Wells. He should have.
Yeah. H.G. Wells. Well, there was one even this season now.
Well, okay, I'll get into this. Well, I was going to say this at the end. So obviously Ace stays and is the new companion, but it was between her and Ray from last week. You know, Ray on the motorbike, Welsh Ray.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
They both were up for, and it depended which one they decided. So if they decided Ray, I suppose this would have been the last of the season, and they would have written her in. And so it was between, basically, they were both options. But I'm glad we sort of went with Ace rather than Ray. I don't think we could have had...
Couldn't have dealt with that, no. I'd have struggled.
No.
I'd have loved having the accent on TV every week.
I know.
But Joe Grant, sorry, I'm just thinking of like rebellious women. Of whom?
Yeah. But I feel there's a bit more of an anger with Ace at the moment. I like that she's got a Blue Peter badge on her jacket.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, she's got all these different... And she had like little Batman earrings and... Yeah, she's got a Blue Peter badge, so... Look at all her badges. There's a video, actually, of Sophie Aldred going through all the badges on her jacket and saying where they're all from. Because half of them are like hers.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
cool.
We see Kane again. He's in his Michael Jackson bed. I don't know if Michael Jackson actually did. I feel like there was a myth that Michael Jackson slept in like a nice bed thing like that.
I've never heard that.
I don't know why. I swear Michael Jackson had one of those. Anyway.
I've literally never heard that in my life.
Anyway, I'll call it the MJ bed.
Do you mean a waterbed?
No,
I think he had a
like a
waterbed then.
cryogenic. He had, like how Kane gets in it and it's like zzz, and goes.
Can you imagine if you told Graceland and they're like, and here's that?
Not Grace.
Wait, not great. I'm thinking of Elvis now. Sorry.
Oh, I bet Elvis probably had one as well. I
Yeah,
swear
it's not around
people
Graceland though, is it? The bits of Graceland they don't show you.
But I swear Michael Jackson had one of those. Anyway, or maybe I'm thinking of Walt Disney.
I think you're thinking of Walt Disney. That's a rumour of Walt Disney. I've literally never heard that for Michael Jackson or Elvis.
One of those. Kane, Michael Jackson, Elvis, Disney. They're all the same people. Right. As we head towards the end of part 1, which is a bit of a weird moment, Doctor and Glitz are finding like the Ice Palace stuff. They're going around. There's a lot of really bad slippy slidey acting from the Doctor.
Yeah. I think it just I didn't mind it too much. It kind of broke it up a little bit because I think it would have been a really tedious just him. Those corridors are not very long. Otherwise, they're just walking through fake snow and then into like plastic rooms.
The sets are a bit cheap though, aren't they?
Oh, they're very cheap. We're near the end of the season now, aren't we? I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that corridor where it's just sort of plastic, sort of see-through plastic and just fake snow.
Yeah,
and
that was really bad.
Like Kane's room, or whatever it's called, it looks cool, but it's big with dry ice. There's not much to it. And it's because it's really high, it looks really cool. But just... You don't feel like they're in the underground.
One of the best effects they had was when they brought the things down, on Glitch's men.
Glitch's men? What? The frozen people.
Yeah, and the things come down on them.
Like a slidey door. Yeah.
Yeah, but that looked really effective because it's like one of the first times we see like behind the scenes, as it were, of Iceland. I feel like as well, I'm just going to stop. I want to explain to our American listeners what Iceland is.
Okay.
I don't mean the country. There's a supermarket in the UK it's called Iceland, and it just sells frozen. It's just freezers, isn't it? There's a few bits of like tins and fresh, but it is 90% frozen stuff, and it like does things with brands and it makes its own. Like if you want your Greggs sausage rolls, you can get them in Iceland.
You can get pizzas, fish fingers, chips, frozen. They do I think it's like 8 items for £10 sometimes.
Yeah, they do like a Slimming World range, don't they? They've got like brand deals. Yeah, they do like a Slimming World. They do like
TGI
Fridays. They've got like different brands that they do like.
Cathedral City cheese.
Yeah, they have a whole
brand.
Cathedral City range.
Yeah.
Cheese range. Yeah. I'm really into their hash browns at the minute, the plate-sized hash brown.
Oh my God, yes!
Yeah.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Which,
oh my God.
If you look on the back mark, because you've just bought one, it tells you how long to put it in the air fryer for.
I know, I need to do that. I need to go to, Iceland. Hash brown.
They're like plate size. They're quite small thin. They're really crispy, which is exactly what you want in a hash brown, really crispy. And then I just whack a load of avocado on it and feta. Bang him.
That is, well, hopefully they are selling those. Hopefully Kane has put an order in for large hash browns.
Plate-sized hash brown. Anyway, I felt like we keep saying Iceland, and I was like, we don't mean the country. Just
I mean, with plate-sized hash browns, that's not a prison sentence, is it?
No.
He's getting off lightly.
He's got loads of choice for food. If you're there for 3,000 years, you aren't going hungry.
I feel like he would avoid ice cream and like the frozen things like that. I don't know.
I think he'd be in that because like that keeps him cold.
What do you think
I'm
of his?
surprised he hasn't just got in a freezer sometimes.
Yeah, well, he can't have hot food. I mean, if he can't like breathe in a hot environment,
Exactly. He can't have hash browns.
Unless he eats cold stuff, unless all he eats is cold.
He must eat like the fish raw, frozen ice cream. He must have all the ice cream and the puddings to do amazing desserts in Iceland. And party range, you do a really good party range. If you want like you're having a party. Oh my gosh, years ago. So I was living with friends years ago, and we were doing like a Christmas meal, but we were like, we couldn't be bothered to do a Christmas meal, but we wanted to do something for Christmas. And Iceland was just around the corner. So we're like, let's just go with like 40 quid, right? Which is a lot for Iceland. Like we put £10 in each, and we were like, let's just get a load of food that we can like get. So we got like an Indian buffet for 50, like a 50-piece buffet of Indian food. And we got like a ridiculous like gatto thing, and we just got like and then pizzas, and we just like bunged it all in the oven, and I ate and then put it out like a massive buffet, but for the four of us. And I love buffet. You know, buffet's my favorite.
Oh yeah. The only thing with that is it's just getting everything to cook at the right time.
Yeah.
When you get loads of stuff, that's the only issue with that. But I mean,
the gatto had to stay out the fridge for like 12 hours.
But anyway, Balaj wants to leave, Kane. So if she was going to have a leaving party, we'd totally do an Iceland buffet for her.
Absolutely. She'd have a full Iceland buffet. Yeah, it's going to be Iceland buffet, isn't it, for the Doskers? I can see it.
Yes, book it in. And Balaj might want to do it. I'll see.
Maybe.
She's been on Ice World. Anyway, what do you think of her anyway? Because she's working for Kane, but she sort of wants to get away from him.
I really liked her, actually. And I would have liked to have seen her more with the Doctor.
Yeah, she's sort of on her own, and then she gets killed, and that's it later on, and then they just...
And it's really quick. And actually, I really would have liked her to have met the Doctor, because you kind of like her. She joined when she was 16. She gave away her life when she was 16. She's supposed to be, 32, 33. I sympathise. I'm a similar age. She does what she's told, because she has to, but I don't think she's evil. Other than she wants to get away from him and get rid of him. But she just wants her freedom. And she's such an interesting character for that. I feel like her and the Doctor would have got on really well, because that's very much him. He just wanted to explore and see the world and do... that's why he left and stuff. He's a rebel at heart himself.
But I wonder why she hasn't... She's been there all that time. I know she's like branded sort of thing. But what is the deal? Like, because he tries to get Ace to sort of do that as well.
I think he just likes collecting people so that when the time comes, and also maybe so that they can do his bidding for him, the more people he has, they have to go and like get other people. I don't know.
He also mentioned there was like a love thing between him and Balaj at some point. There's like one mention of it. But you just think she would have thought about doing this a bit sooner. But I think because Glitz's ship turns up, she's like, I'm going to take the ship. This is my opportunity.
To get out
of here. Kane can't be everywhere. I mean, they failed. They switched off his bed. But like,
Mate, I'd have switched it off and walked out the room.
Exactly. And like, I know he got up and put it back on again, but you could hold that bed down, somebody holds it down, and then someone else just switches the thing down. And it can't be that long until he's like ill. I don't get it. And he's the other thing, he touches people, doesn't he? And like,
I guess it's like if you touch something really cold.
Yeah, it's like frostbites you to death sort of thing. But like, he has to actually touch your face or whatever. You can run away from him quite easily, I think.
Yeah.
He can't grab you that... Do you know what I mean? If Balaj was like, I'm getting in the ship and I'm going, or I'm not coming back to your house, then she can just not come back to his house, but she always does. Never mind. Poor Balaj. But as we go on to the end of episode 1, so we see the dragon, and Mel screams.
Yeah,
suit
not
and
what I was
everything.
expecting. I quite liked that. Looked like something from Alien.
But then this is where we get the confusing end of episode 1, which is very well known and talked about. So the Doctor decides to hang off his umbrella over seemingly a cliff edge
Yes.
on purpose. And then the cliffhanger is he's hanging over a cliff. Did that make sense to you?
There's a few things in this story, as I think we've already established, that, and we're only at the end of episode 1, that did not make sense to me. Other than it was a cool looking effect.
What, him hanging down?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I think this is where the script and production have not met very well, because so what's supposed to happen, and this is explained in the director and the script editor and everyone, the Doctor's on a ledge and he looks down and he wants to get to the next ledge. So he gets his umbrella and he climbs over and he's going down. So I think there's supposed to be a little ledge that he's supposed to be able to get down on, but you can't see that. So when the camera looks down on the effect, it looks like he's over this massive like chasm thing, but actually there is supposed to be a ledge. And I think if you look closely, there is one, but it's not very clear. So it just looks like he stupidly decided to hang off a cliff. Because when Glitz comes in episode 2 to help him, they literally just climb down, and it looks like the Doctor's been hanging for like a few feet, and he could have just jumped, which he could have done. So it's very messily done, and I don't think anyone was really looking at that properly when they were editing that together. I don't know what happened. Surely you would have watched that.
I think they just liked to look at that effect, because I was trying to work out like how they might have done that, because they zoom really far out and you can tell it's still him, because later on when we see Mel and Ace climb down it, you see them actually climbing down.
So it's a very sort of famous like bad cliffhanger, that one, because there's no point. I thought it was a bit silly with the Doctor like climbing over Glitz and like all the sort of silly, that was all a bit rubbish. Glitz's crew are walking around as zombies now, because Kane sort of sets them out. Oh, Kane has somebody making a statue of his like wife or something. Ice statue.
I thought that was like his like boss or commander. I didn't realise it was his wife.
Oh, I don't know. I put his wife because I said when did he go out with a Playmobil character? His Playmobil wife.
I thought it was like I don't know, whoever was in charge of their thing, and he was like, you great leader.
Oh, is it supposed to be? We see that hologram. There's a lady, yeah. And then she says that other one died that he was prisoned with.
Yeah.
And you see, like, she flashes up. It's her, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, otherwise, why have they mentioned that woman in the hologram?
Yeah, she just appears, doesn't she? And they dressed her up all that for nothing. Ace has a stepladder, which is quite useful.
Handy to keep in your backpack. I should pack one myself. You never know.
She's the first companion to carry around an actual rucksack with useful things. And then we have all this Nitro 9 and blowing things up. And for a 3-part story, there isn't actually that much story. Because they spend a lot of time just wandering around trying to find the dragon, and they do find it quite quickly. And then they're just wandering around again for a long time for no reason until they can meet Kane. That's pretty much it. So Kane knows that there's this treasure inside the dragon, which I feel really sorry for the dragon.
I did too. I liked the dragon. Thought it was a cool character. Very what's that robot thing you liked?
It could be anything. K9? No.
The one that we see.
Oh, Chameleon.
Very chameleon-esque.
No, it's nothing like Chameleon. But
not in looks, but in terms of like the spirit.
Okay, spirit of Chameleon. Okay.
Being helpful. And
yes.
like holding some inner special.
Well, we have so Mel and Ace are wandering around. Mel smacks her head on that scaffolding and gets knocked out for like a minute for no
terrible
reason.
Timing of that. Just walks in and like, damn.
She smacks her head. And then this is where we get the explanation in part 2. The Star Wars lady appears, that hologram lady, and says, "This is everything you need to know." Like, I've never really followed the story that closely, but it is quite simple. It's basically, like we've said before, Kane is imprisoned here. We've put him here because he was from some gang, and the treasure is there. I'm not sure why the treasure is there or why he's finding it. actually.
Well,
but
they never mention
it's
it. They
like
don't mention it
power.
in the info thing.
The dragon's like his jailer, and that's the key for him to get out. But I don't know why you would keep the key there with him.
No. Other than, like, it's supposed to be Dragon Witch's fire, and that's against what he... I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he needs it to get off the planet. But he's been searching all this time, and now he's just decided that it's in the dragon. Now he knows. But Star Wars lady, she is in Man About the House as one of the mothers.
Oh.
So when I saw her, I was like, yes. So she's Chrissy's mother.
I mean, I've
And-
never watched Man About the House, but that's what got Mark back into conventions.
Yeah, she's great because she phones up. Her first scene is she phones up because she lives out in the country and it's supposed to be like she doesn't know like how busy London is or whatever. And she phones up and she says something like,
I've been crushed to death in the crowd. I'm soaking wet and I haven't bought half my shopping. I don't know how you can bear to live in London. Is that Chrissy? Mother? Oh, I meant to be there earlier, only I got trapped inside a panty girdle, size 34. What? You know what an optimist I am. Anyway, I shall be with you in about a quarter of an hour. Pop the kettle on. Bye. Mother!
that's her. that's Man About the House. They're all lines like that.
And that's why you love it.
Yeah.
This show I've never heard of. Other than you. You're the only person I've ever heard about Man About the House from.
Yeah, so Kane is exiled. End of episode 2. You're looking at me like there's nothing more to say on this story, but I'm going to carry on.
Yeah, you keep going, love.
End of episode 2, Kane looks at the camera and he's like, at last I can get out of here or whatever.
Yeah, that's his cliffhanger.
Yeah, not great cliffhangers here.
They're terrible cliffhangers. Look, the story is pretty shit. Let's just be honest. What is good is Supermarket. Brilliant. That's the thing. I had so much hope at the start. I thought that was hilarious. Ace is great. Dragon is great. And Little Girl is great.
Little girl, Jean Bonnet. Oh, I've got another. I don't know if this is true or not. I swear someone told me this. I can't remember, but that girl. I swear someone said she did a signing or something. But then it turned out it was someone pretending to be her. It wasn't actually her. I don't know where I got that
so
from.
funny.
I don't know if that's true, but I swear she was an imposter of that girl for some reason.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
I need to find out. Whoever told me that, or if you know anything about that, please let me know. I don't think I don't know why that came into my head, but that's her. Anyway, that girl, I think she's really annoying, that girl. She's a terrible... I was going to say she's a terrible actress, but I know she's just a girl.
I didn't think she was that bad, but she was pretty good.
Oh, no, it was her running around in Kane's house thing. Just sort of like, just run around the studio, we'll film
I
you.
found it funny. She just goes under the table. She's there with the... It's a good way of like ensuring that the child doesn't see any drama. That's like a whole thing you can't do with kids in stage and theatre. Like, they can't actively see the violence.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
You're not supposed to allow children when they... I mean, it's different now maybe to when it was in the 80s. There's a whole thing you're not allowed to let them... Because it can affect like development. Because even if they know it's make-believe, if they were to see something in real life...
I don't know what they were trying to say with this girl running around, apart from like padding out the story. But then the alien picks her up, and she's not scared of the alien. So there's this weird like
it's
link.
Supposed to be like she's an innocent, and we know that like the dragon is also an innocent because they are. It's kind of like, you know, how children see the innocence of like you know that they see the good in people and things like that. So she just meets it. It's nice to her. She's nice, and it helps her get back safely. Because I think it's supposed to sort of indicate, like, you know, it looks scary, but actually it's helping them, and like that's what I took from it. They're both just innocents, which is why it's really sad when it gets killed and its head chopped off.
I know. I feel bad for that. I haven't got any other bingo things, by the way, so we can go off story. They were the only bingo things that I got in this story. But I just want to cover everyone in the ship gets blown up, apart from the girl's mother. I don't know if there's anybody else left on the...
No. It's a terrible time to have gone shopping.
Yeah. Iceland do free delivery, by the way, so you can just pay everything online and they'll bring it to you on the same day.
Next time, people use the online delivery service.
So use online next time.
It's funny, isn't it, to think, actually, when they talk about stuff like this, that would have just seemed such a far-off concept, online delivery. Because, you know, I mean, we're not even online at this point. We're not really internet, and we're definitely not shopping in a way that like I can order something and within an hour it's at my door.
No, I still think it's a more of a convenient, like a drive-by thing. There's only one trolley I saw. There was a load of baskets and one trolley. That was it. They're not expecting people to do a big shop.
Maybe the only space for the one trolley on that set.
Yes. I wish we saw more of Iceworld. Oh, well. The other scene that I think is
I'd love to have
nice,
seen them, stocking up the freezer in the TARDIS.
I know, we don't even see any items. We don't see anything. That's a shame. The other scene I like, though, is Ace and Mel sit down and have a cup of coffee halfway through, which is totally Mel's kind of thing. She loves to stop and have a cup of tea halfway through these stories.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is her, have a coffee. And then this is where Ace explains about her life and all of that kind of stuff. So that's quite nice that they're trying. Maybe this is the new script editor. This is a new time where they're trying to give the actual companion or would-be companion an actual backstory. Because before, I mean, like what Perry was like, had a little bit with her stepdad or whatever. But nobody else has really had that sit-down moment where they're like, this is where I'm from, this is all about me. You find out a lot about Ace. You probably find out more about Ace in this one story than some of the other companions in that whole time.
That's true.
You know, and she's lied about her age, and she's actually supposed to be 16. She says she's 18. We know all about the time storm, and like her parents and her like A-levels and all of that, and she makes bombs and all of that kind of stuff. So you like it's good character development already for Ace, finally. Okay, let's just cut to the end. Let's cut to the end because you're totally done with this story. The cool bit, basically, the ship thing, like we said, was his prison. Off they go. Kane's got his star charts wrong or something, and it's not where. Anyway, he gets melted. His face melts off. Is what happens.
Anyway, he gets melted.
That's what I'm trying to cut to. Cut to getting melted. That was a cool effect. Do you think that was too horrific?
It was pretty horrific. I was thinking about how they did it. They must have done like a wax face and then merged it with his face image. It was a cool effect, but it was quite graphic. Yes, I agree.
But then also, even in this 3-part story, this shows how slight the story is. We have a nice little chunk of actually Mel being like, I'm going. Well, I don't know. It comes out of the blue. I mean, in terms of character development, it's literally like, right, I'm going to go now.
Well, I suppose it's time.
Time? Funny how business time. It delights in frustrating your plans. All Kane's bitterness and hatred thwarted by a quirk of time.
No, I meant, I suppose it's time I should be going.
I was not expecting her to leave like that. Not like that, anyway.
Well, I think, so Bonnie Langford, I think she said, I was listening to an interview with her actually.
Oh, yeah.
She was just like, yeah, I did my time, contract was up. You know, I gave Doctor Who a go. I didn't really think about when I did Doctor Who. I wasn't given much character. She wasn't happy with what she was given. She knows how how we've criticised her acting in it and stuff. She knew at the time what it was coming across as, I think. And she was like, I've done that. I'm moving on to something else. She says it was just one bit of her career. It wasn't like
I get
her whole
that,
career.
yeah. It wasn't supposed to be the
she was
be-all,
known
end-all.
before it. She was known after it. It was just a job. And she's like, I've done my bit.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not like the most amazing character or anything. So she really wasn't bothered. And I think it was quite late in the day that she was actually leaving. And I think they said to her, will you come back next season and do like a farewell story? And they were like, well, we can't guarantee that because she's got other jobs or whatever. So that's why they weren't even going to write this. But then Sylvester McCoy was like, no, she needs a leaving scene. Let's write this leaving scene. So that was just added in on the day of recording all of this stuff.
Which you can just tell. It's such a shame.
But it is quite nice that the Doctor has that little speech, and they do have that. I mean, it's good that they've done that. She literally was going to be like, right, I'm off, bye, and that was it.
And I think as well, particularly they have to do it. The last companion didn't get anything either, you know? Perry's just gone. Yeah. She was killed in a thing that wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then Mel was there. There was no...
She's only done 5 stories. So, I mean, it's a shame because there's so much potential, and Bonnie Langford has a lot of energy and she brings to it all.
And which I think was needed at the time.
So you're not particularly sad to see her go then, really? Or is it just whatever?
Not just whatever, but like it's sad to see her go. And like I said, I would have liked maybe one story with Ace and her before she left.
Oh, well, she goes off with Glitz. So...
Which is just such a weird thing to have chosen to do. I mean, I know she has met Glitz a few times, so at least that made sense. But I just thought they haven't even spent much time together in that episode. So for it to be like, oh, I'll come off with you then.
But I suppose you obviously know that she comes back later on, and she will be coming back soon. So she mentions Glitz in the 60th story that she would be travelling with him. Well, they've done a load of audio CDs where the Doctor and Ace meet Mel again. So there's the three of them. So there's tons of stories actually with the three of them, which that'd
be nice. I think.
Yeah, so a lot happens with that.
I enjoyed her as a character. I thought she brought a nice energy. I liked how she just like straight away stuck in it.
So you're looking forward to Ace then as a companion?
Yeah. That's what the next story is.
Well, this is the end of the season.
Is it?
So that's it. Yeah, we're really short now. We're really short.
Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it's the end of the season. I thought we had one more story, perhaps.
No. Well, okay, so
two.
Here,
I thought like one or
everybody,
two stories.
That's it.
Oh my god, that's flawed. That's genuinely surprised me. That's why her going. I was a bit like, oh, that seems. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a decision here. So obviously we've got the Doskers coming up, season 24 Doskers, but I'm not sure whether to do an extra thing or not before that, because we're going to do some of these spin-offy things which happen in the 90s.
Yeah.
Doing a little 90s stuff, because people have got in touch and want us to do some 90s stuff, so we will. But in between this story and the next one, there was the first ever straight-to-video spin-off. So I'm not sure if we should do it. I was going to do it sort of when we do the 90s, when we start the spin-offs, but as it came out now, I didn't realise it was so early. I don't know if we should do that as a quick one.
I think we save
Doskers.
it, because I think the Doskers is primarily.
Well, we wouldn't include it in the
series.
Doskers. Yeah, we wouldn't include it in the Doskers. It would just be a bonus.
Yeah, I think let's do it's more for me to remember shit, Mark. Like,
or we could do it after the Doskers before.
I think we'll do it after the Doskers.
So we'll do Doskers. We'll do this extra one, and then we'll start season 25. Yeah,
fine.
Because it's still okay.
I'm sure people will get in touch in between if they don't agree with it, but
no.
I think we need to do the Doskers, because if we add this into the mix and then we're like, but don't remember that.
Yeah, we'll do the Doskers.
My brain won't cope. Okay. It'll melt.
So that is, it's only half an hour as well. So it's an easy one to do. And it's on, and I found it online as well. It's on YouTube, so it's totally easy to find.
Fantastic.
So we will do the Doskers coming up soon, everyone. And then after that, in between the seasons, we're going to do the first ever straight-to-video spin-off, which is called Wartime, which is Sergeant Benton on his own.
Bonus for everyone.
Because this is 87, end of 87. And then the next series is sort of end of 88. So this came out before in 1988. So that's where we are in terms of time. I feel like we might have missed out a lot of the story here, but I think we covered most of the points, mainly about Iceland.
I'll be honest, this was a bit of a shit story for me, but it was redeemed by some good characters and nice moments.
There we go. Right, well, I think the Iceland's closing now. We'll get our we'll get our hash browns, and we'll head off. And yeah, we'll let everyone know about the Doskers soon. I get another short one, I think. Yeah,
I can't believe that. I genuinely thought there was another episode.
No,
I can't believe how short that is.
But in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho, and you can follow us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho. Sorry. I'm ill as well, by the way. I should have said I was ill.
Mark should have opened with that line.
Well, this video is very bright, isn't it? I look like Kane melting in here, don't I? I've just noticed what I look like. Is that easier? There we go. Oh, it's very harsh lighting here. Anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.
2 Watch Who.